Good evening, trustees, committee members, and staff. Welcome to the Parent Involvement Committee meeting of the Peel District School Board for 2024-2025 school term. Meeting is being live streamed and recorded will be posted on the PTSB website for future viewing. Now I'll go to the agenda item number 1, call to order. I am Sagar Salas, co-chair of the Parent Involvement Committee, and tonight with me is our ex-co-chair Stacey Ann Brooks. We now call this meeting to order. Welcome everyone to Parent Involvement Committee meeting. We will now move to our next agenda item. We will view the acknowledgement of traditional territories.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you. Now we'll move to our next agenda item for tonight, that is approval of agenda. This was distributed earlier to the PIC members. So we need a mover and a seconder for the approval of agenda. Thank you. And a seconder. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. The agenda is approved. Our next agenda item for tonight is declaration of conflict of interest. So are there any conflicts of interest to be declared? We don't see any, so we'll move on with the agenda. Next agenda item for tonight is approval of minutes. The June meeting minutes are here for your consideration. Is there a mover and a seconder for the approval of the June moving minutes?
I do.
And seconder? You. All in favor? Carried. The June meeting minutes are approved. Next agenda item for tonight is PIC updates and review. Our first item for tonight to review is the recognition of outgoing members and welcome new members and returning members. Thank you all for being here today. It's a pleasure to welcome our new members to the Parent Involvement Committee. This year, we initially recruited 5 members to fill our vacancies, along with 1 ex-officio position. As we move forward, a new vacancy arose, and I'm happy to announce that Stacey Ann, she has transitioned from her ex-officio role to a full PIC member. Congratulations, Stacey Ann, and thank you for your continued dedication. I would also like to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude to our outgoing members, Ben, Catherine, and Hira. Your hard work, passion, and commitment have helped shape the PIC and ensure the voices of parents are heard. Your contribution have left a lasting impact, and we hope you will continue to stay connected with us. Finally, a quick note about the ex-officio position. It's an optional role typically offered to the chair or co-chair after they complete their term. So it gives them an opportunity to stay involved in an advisory capacity. We have exciting work ahead of us, and with the strength of this new team, I'm confident we'll make great strides in our efforts to support our school community. Thank you all once again. and let's look forward to a productive year together. I would like to invite our new committee members to introduce themselves and the returning members too. One of the members is present here, and Shazia, would you like to?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shazia Hassan. I've been a PIC for some time. I'm looking forward to coming back and looking forward to working with the new members. Welcome.
Thank you, Shazia. Stacey Ann.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacey Ann. Good evening, everyone. My name is Stacey Ann Brooks. I've been with PIC for a while, and I enjoy working with the committee. I look forward to doing great things for the school board and the community in general. So welcome all the new members and welcome back to the old members and the trustees and the school board staff that is supporting us. Thank you.
We have Shannon.
Good evening, everybody. I'm very sorry I was not able to join in person. It was my intention, but I've come down with something and didn't want to spread it to anybody else. I'm so excited to be joining PIC for the first time and really looking forward to working together.
Thank you, Shannon. We have Jason here.
All right there. So my name is Jason. I have 4 kids, and so I am heavily invested in their future and what we can do to bring unique and wonderful learning opportunities to them. So I am excited to be a part of this to see what I can do to help make an impact.
Thank you, Jason. We have Dima here. She's online.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dima, and I am really excited as well to be part of this committee. I am also very passionate about supporting the school boards, as I have 2 kids in the Peel School Board myself, and I am also a children's therapist, and I support a lot of children who attend Peel School Boards. I look forward to meeting you all.
Thank you, Dima. We have Sweetie here, who is a returning member.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sweetie Sharma. This is my second term in the Parent Involvement Committee, and my last 2 years has been amazing. And I'm looking forward to do an amazing things this year, involve more parents, getting more events done, and whatever we can do with the support of PDSB and the PIC. Thank you.
Thank you, Sweetie. Now, I would like to request our PIC members who are entering their second year of the first term. I see Adnan here. Adnan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adnan Ghani. I have 2 kids in the high school in Mississauga, and this will be my second year in PIC. I'm really looking forward to working with you all this year, and I'm really glad and welcome the new PIC members this year. Thank you.
Now I'm over to Vandana.
Hi everyone, this is Vandana Manhar, and this is for me also, this is the second year with the Parent Involvement Committee, and I'm really excited to be a part of this year for this year as well, and welcome to the new members in the PIC, and let's see what we can do for the community this year. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Vandana. Alison Lockett. Passing over to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. It is good to be here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah, my apologies for also not being able to get there. But looking forward to showing up hopefully in person for future meetings. And yeah, it's my second year on the committee, and I met all of the new folks already. So looking forward to continuing to get started working together properly, and looking forward to getting back together with our members from last year as well. I think there's so much potential for this group and what we can do together with the staff and the trustees. So I'm motivated and excited and looking forward to it. Thanks.
Thank you, Alison. Thank you very much. Do we have Toby here? I think he's not here tonight. And we have other Alisa Men is also not here. And so with this, we'd like to thank you all once again, and let's look forward to a productive year together. Now we'll move to our next agenda item, that is PIC contact. So PIC contact information has been shared with PIC members. Please review your PIC email to stay updated. Next agenda item for tonight is subcommittee update. We'll provide an update on the subcommittee and its members during our next meeting in October. So stay tuned. For tonight, we have one subcommittee, bylaw subcommittee. It will provide its review, and we will introduce a revised committee membership bylaw that has been shared earlier with the members. So may I have motion that Parent Involvement Committee approve the revised committee membership bylaws?
I do.
Is there a seconder for the approval of bylaws of committee membership? I do. Thank you. All in favor? The Parent Involvement Committee bylaws, Parent Involved Committee membership bylaws has been approved. Now we move to our next agenda item for tonight, executive position elections. The first one is that PIC position and vacancies. We would like to inform PIC members regarding the executive positions at PIC. There are 4 executive positions on PIC. That are 2 co-chairs, a secretary, and a treasurer, all of whom must be parent members. Co-chairs are appointed for a 2-year term, and I am in my 2nd year co-chair position. The second co-chair position is vacant, as are the positions of secretary and treasurer, both of whom are appointed for 1-year term. Here's a brief overview regarding the executive positions. The co-chairs shall not be employees of the board. We can find further their role and responsibilities in the PIC handbook by Ontario Ministry and the Ontario Regulations 612/00, School Councils and Parent Involvement Committees. The position of treasurer is an elected position. Employees of the board may serve as treasurer so long as they inform the PIC about their employment with the board at the first meeting held by the committee in the relevant school year. The treasurer is responsible for managing the PIC budget with assistance from the associate director and the superintendent with responsibility over the PIC portfolio. The position of secretary is an elected position. Employees of the board may serve as secretary so long as they inform the PIC of their employment at the first committee meeting. Responsibilities of the secretary are taking the minutes at PIC meetings and assist PIC members with administrative support for the functioning of PIC and its subcommittees. The secretary may request support for these functions from a board staff person. The election for these positions will be held at the next PIC meeting in October 17th. So now may I have a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receive the announcement of PIC executive position and the election. Is there a mover? That's it. Thank you. Do we have seconder for receiving the information?
I do.
All in favor? Carried. Our next agenda item is the PIC report highlight from 2023-2024. The PIC report highlight was shared already in the PIC in the June meeting minutes. So here I would like to have a motion that the PIC Parent Involvement Committee receive the 2023-2024 PIC report. Is there a mover?
Yes, I do.
And a seconder? All in favor? Carried. Next agenda item for tonight is PIC budget allocation. The Equity Department confirmed the PIC budget for the year 2024-2025, which is $30,423 to be used from parent engagement funds. Funds for PR grant have also been received for a total of $124,000. May I have a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receives the PIC budget allocation update?
Can you repeat the PIC amount?
For PIC amount is $30,423.
30,000?
30,423. 30423. This is from the parent engagement funds. So is there a mover and seconder for receiving this information?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And the seconder?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Next agenda item for tonight is activities. We will begin our year with Great Start. I would like to give you a brief description of Great Start. It's an orientation event for new school council members that will tentatively scheduled for either the last week, it is scheduled for the last week of October or first week of November. This event is a collaboration between the Peel District School Board and PIC, and will focus primarily on the parent engagement policy. Policy outlines two formal structures within Ontario's education system that support parental engagement, giving parents a voice at both the school and district levels. The event will highlight the role and contributions of our school council members, as well as their commitment to enhancing parent involvement and promoting student excellence. May I have a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receive the Great Start update information? Is there a mover and a seconder for receiving this information?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. And the seconder? Thank you. All in
Yes,
favor?
I do.
Thank you. Carried. Next agenda item for tonight is orientation. We are planning to hold an orientation program tentatively in the first or second week of October for PIC members. This session will help members understand and adapt to the PIC hierarchy, as well as their roles and responsibilities. We will also share best practices around expectations to ensure everyone is aligned moving forward. May I have a motion that the Parent Involvement Committee receive the 2024-2025 activity orientation?
Yes, I do.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried.
Sorry,
Our
yeah.
agenda- Sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. It's Allison L here. I just wanted to ask a quick question about that. I wanted to make sure that all of the PIC members are going to be attending that orientation, not just the new members. Am I correct with that?
Yes.
Okay.
This is for everyone, all the PIC members.
Okay, great. Thank
Thank you
you.
for your question. Do we have any other question?
What's the date and time for that?
It would be in the first or second week of October.
Oh, so we haven't finalized the time and day.
We have 2 dates. I can share them now, but we will see if the availability of everyone. I can share the date with you.
Yeah.
So for orientation program, we have actually 3 days for orientation. October 1st from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. October 2nd, 5:30 to 7:30, or October 10th, 5:30 to 7:30.
So we get to pick?
Yes, we'll send an email, and depending on the availability of most of the members, we will choose the date.
So just to confirm that all the start times are at 5:30?
For most of the public meeting, the start time is 5:30.
Okay.
I would also want to announce a tentative date for the grade start here. October 22nd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Or another date is November 12th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Sorry, can you say that again?
October 22 from 6 to 8 p.m.
That is
for grade start. And there's another date, November 12th from 6 to 8. These dates are tentative.
okay. Will we get those in the minutes after?
Yes,
Okay.
we will email you shortly for these dates to get the vote to finalize the date for the events.
Okay.
And I would also like to announce the PIC election will be happening on October 17th in the next PIC meeting. Is there any more question? I would like to ask again for a mover and seconder for receiving this information.
Moved. I moved.
Thank you. And a seconder?
I do.
Thank you very much. Now we move to our next agenda item for tonight. Item number 7, that's board update. We would like to request Associate Director Dr. Logan to provide any updates.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure to be able to provide an update for all of the PIC members and, of course, all of our families who are online, interested in PIC activities and interested in learning more about parent and community engagement in the Peel District School Board. So on behalf of Director Swaroop and my associate director colleagues, AD Gill, AD De Silva, and AD Padua, I just want to welcome you to an exciting new school year. Startup this year has gone incredibly smoothly, and we are so delighted to welcome back all of the children and all of the staff. And we also want to take an opportunity to thank the school administrators, the educators, the custodial staff, the office and support staff for their work in preparing schools for the return to children at the beginning of the month. And also a special thank you to the educators who ran summer school programs. And I'll be giving a little bit of an update about that as well. And of course, all of the staff that worked throughout the summer months and engaged in processes to make sure that all our schools were fixed and repaired and replenished so that they can welcome all of the children this year. I know that Althea is going to do a presentation around the multi-year strategic plan, and we're so excited that our trustees have developed a plan for the next 4 years, so starting this year for 2024-2028. And that plan is really going to guide the work that we are doing in the Peel District School Board. So I think, Althea, what I'll do is I'll turn it over to you to engage in the multi-year strategic plan, and then I will pick up on the remainder of the report.
Thank you, Camille. Thanks, Dr. Logan. So it's my pleasure to present a high-level overview of our new multi-year strategic plan. We're excited. At the core of the multi-year strategic plan, of course, is student achievement.
And I just want to make sure that I introduce you. So everybody, just want to have an opportunity to welcome Superintendent Thea Grant. She is the new superintendent for equity, Indigenous education, and community engagement, and we're delighted to have her in the role this year. And part of her portfolio is PIC. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Camille. And so excited to work, of course, with PIC, and we know that parents are partners in the education of our children, and we know that our students achieve at a better level when our partnership is really strong. So I'm really excited to be working with you. And so as we move to present a high-level overview of our multi-year strategic plan, we're excited to present that. Director Sharrock made it clear to the system at starting point how our work this year and for the next 4 years will be focused on reaching the goals of the multi-year strategic plan. And I do want to say that on April 17th, the Peel District School Board of Trustees shared the multi-year strategic plan. And this includes our following values around positivity, empathy, environmental stewardship, and leadership values that will take our students into the future. And so at the Peel District School Board, we will inspire success, confidence, and hope in every student. And so the mission is central to the plan for student success, which continues to be grounded in anti-oppressive, anti-racist equity frameworks that affirm our students' identities, promote empathy, positivity, environmental stewardship, and leadership. And so grounded in this multi-year strategic plan, of course, are our goals around, first and foremost, we want to make sure that our students are safe. Goal 1, that they're achieving well-being and that we're enhancing their safety and sense of belonging and their mental wellness. In terms of equity and inclusion, which is our second goal, we're promoting discrimination-free learning environments that are identity affirming and uphold Indigenous rights and Indigenous sovereignty. And central to the multi-year strategic plan, of course, is student achievement. And I know we're all here to support student achievement and to make sure that our goals, and it's really heartening to see that our goals align with the Better Students and Schools Outcome Act that came out of the ministry last year around improving students' core academic skills performance and also preparing students for future success. And it emphasizes highly experiential learning, co-op, reach ahead opportunities for students as well. And the fourth goal is community engagement. We want to ensure that we're grounding our work in engaging caregivers and the community as partners in supporting student success. And in terms of our second slide here, so if we just change to our second slide, you will see that we have written in some of the details around how we will achieve the 4 goals and our commitment to students. What are we going to do for students? What are we doing for staff? And what are we doing for families and communities? And you will see clearly here that in terms of student achievement, for students, we're declaring now that for students, we will foster students' agency and ownership while developing their skills and knowledge to access multiple academic and career pathways, which is central to their current achievement and future achievement. We continue to address disparities in outcomes for students who are historically and currently marginalized and underserved, so they achieve in terms of opportunities provided. And for staff, we will make sure that our staff are well equipped. As we say, it's in the classroom that we'll make the biggest difference to students' achievement. And so our staff must be well equipped in terms of professional development. And for families and community, we will deepen our understanding and access to pathway opportunities. And you will see that experiential learning and pathway opportunities keep coming up often, and that it is critical to the success of students. It's critical to their future success. We will develop and enhance partnerships with community organizations, agencies, post-secondary institutions that will benefit students and families. And so that this is the basis of our engagement with parents and communities. And our second goal in terms of safety and well-being, you see clearly there what we're committed to do for students. We will create safe, respectful, and positive environments. We will increase awareness and access to mental health resources in school, but also in the community. And for staff, we will facilitate their ability to ground their work in human rights, equity, and to aid the creation of safe and inclusive environments. We will provide supports to monitor and assist students in accessing timely supports, and we continue to train our staff to do so. And very importantly, for communities, we will collaborate with community partners to advocate for comprehensive supports and services and ensure awareness, referral pathways to agencies. So partnering with community is critical to the success. Students are in school and students are in our communities. In terms of equity and inclusion, We continue to ensure that barriers are identified, removed for historically and currently marginalized students, and to create equitable and inclusive learning environments. And we will continue to uphold Indigenous rights. And if you notice that we recently now have an Indigenous trustee, an Indigenous student trustee, as we work towards furthering Indigenous sovereignty. And so you will see there that we have outlined clearly how we will operationalize meeting the goals of our multi-year strategic plan, and that is for students, for staff, and for families. And for community engagement for students, we'll expand learning beyond the classroom to provide real-world experiences, and we will embed community histories, assets, and experiences in the learning environment. And for staff, we will strengthen their partnership with identity-specific community agencies and better meet the diverse needs of students. And it's always critical that we're nurturing trust in relationships and that we explicitly promote trust in relationships between home, school, and leverage the strength of resources and expertise of the community. And so for families and community, we will incorporate inputs in developing school improvement plans that support equitable outcomes for all students. And we will engage Indigenous knowledge keepers and elders to build meaningful relationships grounded in solidarity and mutual respect. And that's so important, especially right now. And I did want to give you, present to you what our student achievement plan looks like, because, and that's our next slide. And because our student achievement plan really is the indicators of success. It is how we will measure how we're achieving the student achievement, how we're achieving the multi-year strategic plan. And if you see clearly in terms of our students' achievement plan, it is grounded in students' achievement of core academic skills that we're working on. You see EQAO there, you see the number of students doing well in OSFLT. And so we're intentionally through the language achievement plan and the math achievement plan focused on student achievement. And you will also see there that we're focused on apprenticeship, experiential learning, mentoring, and reach ahead of opportunities, and particularly in STEM for our students, so they can enjoy success in school and also be excited and well prepared for their future. So that's the work that we need to do moving forward, and we're excited to be working with you as partners in the education of your children to achieve our multi-year strategic plan, which is grounded in success of the children. Thank you.
Thank you, Althea. And I'll just add a few other things. So again, we're really excited about the plan, and we know that this will guide also the work of parent engagement, thanks to the work of PIC. So just a couple of highlights to add to that. As Althea shared, we are so excited to be able to have the Peel District School Board's first Indigenous student trustee. So we had 3 student trustees inducted on August 28th. Graduate Tapa from Mississauga Secondary School, Justin Cole from the Woodlands, and as Althea shared, Austin Chris John, who's the first Indigenous student trustee. So that's a monumental moment for the school district, and we know that all 3 of the student trustees are going to do incredible things for the Peel District School Board on behalf of their peers. Also just wanted to, I think, remind folks, I think everybody is aware that we now have a new rule with cell phones. So this is out of PPM 128. And just a reminder that students in kindergarten through grade 8 are expected not to bring their cell phones to school, and students in grades 9 to 12 are expected to keep their cell phones off and out of sight during instructional time, except when given permission by the teacher. And so far, what we are hearing from our schools is that this has been going very, very well. Students are focused, they are working in collaboration with the classroom teachers, and we're really seeing that it's really bringing a lot of, I think, joy and incitement and engagement to our schools and classrooms. Kids are outside playing with one another and talking with one another and playing games. So we are really seeing a great change, and we want to thank all of the parents because we know that you are working in collaboration with the school to support the way in which we're really trying to support students and their focus in school. So I want to also thank the parents for their support. And we also have, as part of PPM 128, is also the anti-vaping policy and rules. And so that prohibits smoking use, possession of provisions of tobacco, cannabis, and the use of electronic cigarettes, etc. And we know that we have very strict rules about that. And again, these are all aspects of student safety. That is our priority in the Peel District School Board, and we really want to make sure that your children are safe and that we are creating a safe learning environment for everyone. And in terms of the equity department, we have many of our schools will be sending out letters that are called the work that we're doing about humanity starts at home. And that really is, again, demonstrating the connection between home and school and really trying to make sure that in collaboration, we work together to create an inclusive school environment, that our schools are warm, welcoming, and support all children, and that they are able to be their authentic selves in our schools. And just a couple of school council reminders for everybody. We know that within the first 30 days of the school year, all schools should be sharing that there is a school council election that must be completed by that time. And actually the actual date is October 3rd. And so for any of the families that are interested in being involved in an elected role in school council and you haven't heard from your school, please feel free to reach out to express interest, but we are sure that that communication has gone out, and we're really looking forward to supporting schools and their school councils and the work that PIC does. And then finally, just want to draw everybody's attention and a reminder to our Parent Connect. So it's a reminder for all families to stay connected to the board. And it's a safe and secure website that acts as a single point to stay informed and to access all electronic services provided for parents. And this allows parents and guardians to view, as an example, school-based alerts. It gets you information about busing and also access to Brightspace and more. So a reminder about that. And then finally, just for transportation, we know that's always a hot topic for many of our families. And we feel very, very fortunate in the Peel District School Board that we had every driver for every route. Believe it or not, that is something really to applaud. You might hear in some of the other school boards and districts that that's not always the case. So we have to really thank Stopper, our partner, in regards to the work that they've been doing in our transportation department for that work. We know that there's still going to be some school bus delays because that tends to happen with new routes and everybody getting adjusted to a new schedule and traffic. So, so please be patient with that. And we know that this year Stopper provided transportation to approximately 1,700 elementary students for the new RLCP piece that we now have transportation for. So we're really excited to be able to offer that. And then we'll be looking at next year for having eligible grade 9 and 10 students attending RLC programs and providing busing for them in September of 2025. So I don't know if there's any questions. And if not, that will conclude my report.
I have a question.
Sure.
So, Peter and Ethia, thank you for sharing the strategy planning for 4 years. You mentioned about the support from PIC. So what kind of support board is expecting from PIC for this 4-year program?
Oh, that's an amazing question. So first of all, we want to make sure that we're engaged.
Here's the mic.
Oh, here. Thought I had that on. Thank you. That's a great question. Thank you. So we want to make sure that parents are engaged. We want to make sure that our strategies are having an impact. So ongoing engagements, and what we found, and thanks to the trustees for creating such an amazing 4-year strategic plan that is grounded in student achievement. And so what we found in looking at some of the feedback from families want to know more about our curriculum. And so it's very, very important that they're hearing from us, but if they can also hear from PIC members, if you can work with us as well in helping us to know what the priorities are, then that would be important. So I'm already working with the curriculum department to maybe do a presentation through PIC around our curriculum, because we have so many new curriculum areas, and we've got the language achievement plan, the math achievement plan, but even our math curriculum is new. And so where you can support us is really continuing to let us know what is important, because sometimes we get caught up in the work and we think that our work is having an impact, and we need to hear from you in terms of the impact of our work and what is important, and supporting us as a bridge to ensure that we're being transparent with families and that families have all the resources that they need for students to be successful. And even for me as a former guidance counselor, I always want to make sure that families know where to access mental health resources for their children and how to do that in school, but very, very importantly, how to do that in the community as well. And so community partnership is extremely important. And as we engage with community, we want to make sure that we engage in communities in ways that support our multi-year strategic plan. So when we look at our students' achievement plan, what we're seeing is a high emphasis on experiential learning. So how can we map the assets of community to support our students to gain experiential learning? Every secondary school student needs to have 40 hours of community service to get their diplomas. How can we work with community to ensure that our students are getting that 40 hours of community service? Where is the dentist in the community that can offer mentorship? So those are extremely important areas that we need you to support us on in order to support our students to be successful.
Thank you for the answer. Just to follow up on that, how being a PIC member and other members get to know more about this 4-year program, or get more of the insight of this program, so we can give you a feedback, comment, opinions, collect those details for you, or express our views on that. And we also want to be part of the process, how this will be implementing it, how is getting it done, and what doesn't matter what will happen, but what will be the outcome of those plans, maybe on semi-yearly basis or quarterly basis. I just would like your comment on that.
That's okay.
Okay, so thank you very much for the question. And with regards to asking about the outcomes and so forth with regards to the plan, what you will see at the board meetings is that you'll see updates and reports that will speak to specific areas of the plan. And so that's really the best opportunity for you to get a sense as to what is happening through the various departments. And indicating those reports will articulate specific areas of the plan and will demonstrate what that progress looks like. And hopefully you can make connections specifically to things that are happening in your child's school. And I'm also hopeful that as we move through the plan, because we just launched it, that many of our schools and school councils will be talking about the plan and making clear connections to what they are doing and how it connects to and enhances the expected outcomes of the plan. So as we're just launching it, we know that those things will start to come through to fruition, and there'll be opportunities to make those connections. So I anticipate, for instance, at grade start, having an opportunity to talk about the multi-year strategic plan, and should we continue on with previous work that PIC has done with regards to the conference, those are other opportunities to talk about the multi-year strategic plan and the types of things that families and parents can do to support it.
Thank you, both of you.
Thank you, Tamil. I have a question regarding the student achievement plan. Can you briefly explain the student achievement plan for the families with special needs?
Oh, absolutely. That is a great question. And so in terms of the student achievement plan, you will see there, and I'm not looking at it now, but I think I've got it visualized in my head. In terms of the student achievement plan and supporting students with special needs, it's important that we're making sure that special needs students, that we center their learning portraits and that they are achieving in terms of EQAO as well. So in terms of grade 3 and grade 6 and grade 9 EQAO and grade 10 OSSLT, and that we're ensuring that we use the strategies, because all of our students will be expected to be assessed, but we want also to make sure that we're implementing the strategies that will support students to be successful. And I know that there are many schools that have, supporting engaging parents around parents with children with autism. And how are we most appropriately supporting the children? And that requires a partnership with parents because parents know their children best and in terms of how they learn. And so all of our children are expected to meet those markers of success. And the burden really is on us to ensure that we implement those strategies and resources that will allow the students to be successful, whether they have an identified IEP or they have a non-identified IEP.
If I just may add, so through your chair, if I may just add as well to the conversation around the student achievement plan, it is available on the board website. So if you also look on the board website, you will see the student achievement plan, and it outlines all of the priorities in addition to the student achievement plan report. So there is a student achievement plan report for 2023-2024 that you will also have access to that you can review, where you can see the specific areas of focus that we've been working on in our current progress.
You come in, thank you, Etienne. And I do want to add as well that we report back how our children are doing. We report back what's the percentage of students engaged in experiential learning, how our students are doing in grade 3 and grade 6, and we adjust our strategies to make sure that our strategies are working. So the student achievement plan becomes our indicator of success because we're reporting back every year and we must address our strategies accordingly.
I have a question. Yes. I have a question. How do we gauge students who are they're a part of the Peel District School Board, but they're in outside resource classes? For example, Elizabeth Price and the other. How do we gauge their learning? How does that work for the students?
So that is an excellent question. So if students are getting outside resources, they're still connected in terms of their achievement. And so they're getting and there's a reason why they're in those programs, really is to support the students social and emotionally, but they're still expected to achieve. And so as secondary school guidance counselor myself, it doesn't matter where the credits are. Your home school is a Peel District School Board home school, and your achievement will be reflected on your transcript with the Peel District School Board home school.
Thank you. But can you tell us what's the achievement like? Is there anything in the board that shows what the achievements are for those students who are in those outside resources, the effective? Because I know students go there, but I've never heard any reports on how they're doing in outside resources.
So I certainly can investigate and give you specifics. But again, the resources, students are brought through ISRCs and IPRCs, and they're monitored continuously. And so the indicators of success, of course, would be engagement and achievement and social emotional readiness and their attendance and ultimately their achievement and ultimately their engagement in experiential learning and of course their achievement in terms of their transcripts. So, we provide the supports, but certainly the indicators of success really is how children are achieving and how they're improving in terms of their social emotional well-being. But I certainly could provide you with an update at the next meeting.
Thank you. An update would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Atia. Do we have any other questions?
I have a quick question, if I may.
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Hi. So I'm hearing through a couple of points how critical it is that we are informing and socializing this plan with families. And I would assume that big partners of us being able to communicate this plan to families are our school councils. And so forgive me if I'm ahead of myself a little bit, being my first meeting, if this is going to be part of the orientation or part of the quick start, but I'm just wondering what resources or tools we would be able to provide to school councils as they're starting their meetings about this plan and about the importance of parent engagement and support in the plan.
Sure. So in terms of resources, so we've got the multi-year strategic plan very nicely laid out in hard copies, as well as electronically available on the website. And also, if you notice on one of the slides there, we have aligned the multi-year strategic plan with the student achievement plan and with our SEAT goals. And so every school is expected to embed the multi-year strategic plan in their student achievement plan at the school level. And so there is an expectation that school councils and parent communities have an input in setting the goals, the SEAT goals in every school. In fact, there were many schools that had town halls last year just to capture feedback from parents so that that could be embedded in the school improvement and equity plans, which would include sense of belonging and achievement as well. So the school council is a great medium to do that. And we do have a knowledge mobilization team here that also assists schools in conducting what we call ethical town halls, where we capture data from school councils and the parent community, synthesize that data, but also make sure that we report back to communities what we have done. And all of that is captured in the school improvement and equity planning process, which is reviewed and updated every year. So certainly principals should be engaging school councils in setting their school improvement plans, which includes the bullying prevention plan, EQAO, EQAO practice, parents using Math Up to support their children at home, really tangible ways to support achievement.
Thank you, Adrian. I would also like to add to here, there are some resources that are shared with Ministry of Education to support schools and parenting caregivers. The Center for Addiction and Mental Health, it works to apply multidisciplinary approaches towards tobacco control strategies designed to help parents, family, friends, and caregivers and providers. There's another resource for Media Smart that develops digital media literacy programs and resources for homes, schools, and communities. And School Mental Health Ontario, it helps school districts enhance student mental health through the use of evidence-informed strategies and services. So that we will share further during our Great Start and orientation program. These are some of the resources that can be shared with the school councils.
I have another question. Are you finished? Sorry, I'm sorry.
Shannon, are you finished?
Sorry, I was on mute. Yes, thank you very much.
I would like to ask about the AP course and where are we and how are we introducing this course to the marginalized group at the beginning of the school year 2024. So I would really like to know how it's been implemented and I can call like the Black communities, actually the students are learning about the course, knowing that it's there and that it's there for them to enter also. So can I have like an answer as to how we are introducing it to them?
Take that in terms of, so we're in the process, and I'm central to the process of developing advanced placement courses. We do know that Black and Indigenous students, historically marginalized students who are gender diverse, or have low representation in advanced placements and IB courses. And so we've taken the initiative to write Black studies into advanced placement courses, and those will be rolled out in 6 secondary schools in the Peel District School Board. And I'm currently in the process through the network of Black Studies educators in developing those courses. And I don't have the 6 schools on the top of, and that also includes an environmental studies AP course that's being offered at David Suzuki. So there are 6 schools that are piloting advanced placement courses for Black students grounded in Black studies.
And if I may ask, how long is this pilot project going to take so that a lot of Black students, Indigenous and marginalized students doesn't fall through the crack for it, because we have a long period of testing, because we want as much people to be successful, as much students to have the same opportunity.
That is an excellent question. The AP courses are taken over a 2-year period. We want to ensure efficacy in terms of and fidelity to curriculum. And so we're working with the College Board to make sure that we deliver courses that are of high value. And so it will take a 2-year process. The children will do pre-AP in grade 10 and AP in grade 11 and grade 12. So it is a process. Superintendent Hoppy is taking the lead on this, and I certainly can get more details and get back to you. That's a very, very important question.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Can I jump in with a question? It's Allison L online here.
So Alison, please go ahead.
Is that okay? Okay, great. Thank you. I wanted to I have just a couple quick comments and then a question. So first comment just around the multi-year strategic plan. I'm so pleased it's been presented here. I think it's great to see, and I think it's a really important step, obviously, in socializing it. I think Shannon brings up a really great point about getting it out there and the appetite for this type of information amongst the community and the families who have children in our schools. So I think that could be something that we revisit. I think Great Start is a really good opportunity for that. But I think that's probably, an ongoing conversation that is worth having. I have to admit, as I was hearing it presented, like I remember last year it being mentioned as something that was being worked on. And then this is the first time that it's being presented here, which is perfectly fine. As I think back, I kind of wonder if there may have been an opportunity for more engagement. It sounds like perhaps there was at like the town halls that are being mentioned. I just kind of register that on the radar, as I think that always probably more engagement is better. Maybe there's a point at which it isn't, but I think in general, more is probably better. So I just think that that's something we can also maybe just have acknowledged, and I'd be curious if others agree, but I think it looks great. My question is about the technology piece that Camille, you were mentioning. So when you were giving your update, you mentioned about the cell phone policy. I think this is really a good thing. I think a lot of parents think this is a good thing. I'm so delighted to hear that it seems to be on a positive track. What I want to know is whether thought or guidance has been given to administrators and educators on the issue of time students are spending on screen on a daily basis at school, particularly for our younger students. So students who aren't coming in with a device. Is there a coordinated kind of effort around or a discussion? Is this a discussion? Because it's become a discussion at our school, and what I'm hearing is that it's a little bit of a blank stare. But I think that, when parents are having their grade 2 student come home and they've seen a video and then they've seen another video and then they've seen another video and then they've done so, I'm just kind of curious whether it's on the radar. And I know it's a bigger discussion, but I would love to hear whether it's on the radar. And I thank you in advance.
So through you, Chair, and thank you for the question, Allison. And just want to respond to some of the questions that you have about the multi-year strategic plan. So it was, in terms of getting feedback from families, it was socialized throughout the year last year, and we actually had over 12,000 participants via survey and other means respond to providing input into the plan. And we just launched it in August. So it was just launched at the leadership retreat. And so at the beginning of the school year, so September 3rd is technically when we have launched it now out to the public technically. So, so I know there may be questions about where are all the materials and resources to be able to support schools. Those are under development. There's information obviously on the school board website that's available, but in terms of supporting schools, those are under development because it has just been released to the system itself. And as I mentioned in my piece, absolutely, it should be shared as part of Great Start. And as I mentioned, should we be engaging in the conference again as well? So really looking to be able to socialize a 4-year plan. And so we're in the beginning weeks of launching the plan. And then in regards to your question pertaining to screen time and so forth, I would say that we really are focused on strong instructional strategies and what those look like. We do have what we call our EML, which is our Empowering Modern Learners document, which guides the way in which technology should be used in schools. And that's something that if you're seeing things that you have questions about particular to your child, and what's happening in your child's schools, I would really encourage you to have that conversation with the school teacher and the administrator around what that looks like and to answer those specific questions in terms of what you're seeing. But I would say absolutely we have a guide, and it's actually going to be revised because, as you know, as technology changes, our materials and resources do as well. And our tagline for the board is Empowering Modern Learners. So this is a very significant focus along with innovation and ways in which we want to support our students to be great global citizens and to be able to have those competencies that will provide them with success. So happy to be able to speak to this at another point in time throughout PIC, because I think it's a great question. And I know we will look for opportunities to share more information about this, whether it be again through workshops that PIC does or conferences and other opportunities. So thanks very much for your question. It's a good question.
Thank you, Camille. I have a question regarding the goal for equity and inclusion. It is for the staff, related to staff. So how will board ensure the accountability from staff in developing culturally responsive and identity affirming school codes? How will board monitor and support the staff in developing this very much goal so that it ensure the equity and inclusion?
Thank you for that question. And we do that in multiple ways. We've got a discriminatory statements and exposures policy that's highly promoted and has been highly successful. And I shouldn't use the word highly successful, but certainly highly publicized. And so children are reporting issues of discrimination, educators are reporting, our Human Rights Office is monitoring reports of discrimination, and there's an accountability loop that goes from the educator to the principal to the superintendent to the Human Rights Office. And so all of these reports need to be investigated, are repaired, and there's accountability. And so the entire system has been trained in what we call the SNAC model. You hear discrimination, you stop it, you name it, you affirm our Peel District School Board Policy 48 and 51 about human rights, and we work to correct it. And so that work had started in 2020 and continues. We have educated all of our educators, or particularly our principals, and for them to do the education and capacity building of teachers around ensuring that we're using culturally responsive pedagogy, that we're supporting students who are neurodiverse, that we're supporting students gender diversity, and we're affirming their identities. And we do have the strategies, and we've got the equity strategies, and we report back on all of those strategies. And the process is a continuous process, because we know that when children feel safe, learning is a mental function, and when children are safe, they achieve at a higher level. And so we continue, it is a continuous process, and we continue to improve the process. And the important thing is awareness and its capacity building.
Thank you, Atia, for addressing this. And do we have any other question?
Yes,
I have a question too. Sorry, I don't know if
Stacy,
So I'll go ahead and then you can go after. As Syria asked a question, it just pops in my head. We always have a PA day. We have several PA days, and I'm not really sure what goes on in a PA day. What does the teachers taken from school is taught on a PA day? If I could get an answer on that.
That is a very, very good question. We're currently planning for the October 11th Professional Learning Day. So what the educators take is what we deliver to the system. It's going to be based on everything that we do will be based on our multi-year strategic plan. So we're currently working with the curriculum department to make sure that we create materials to build the capacity of educators on those professional learning days, because really those days are the days when principals get their teachers together and they learn together, and teachers and educators and school staff and EAs, they learn together. And so we're currently in the process of developing those materials. And as per the ministry, we do report to families what happens on the professional learning days. So it's not that schools are doing their own thing. We're making sure that what we deliver in those professional learning days align with the student achievement plan and the multi-year strategic plan.
Thank you for the answer. So I'm guessing then that, and I'm assuming the equity and inclusion, the anti-Black racism, the anti-Islamophobia, the everything is being shared and executed with the teachers and the principal in those days.
Yes,
so that everyone can have the same information right across the board and the expectations of how to treat each other.
Yes, and that's it. That's a very, very important point for us to clarify, because families often wonder what is happening in our schools, what's happening on a professional learning day. So I'm glad you've asked that question. Tomorrow we will be vetting all of the resources here between the equity department and the central departments that will be delivered on the October 11th Professional Learning Day. So that is correct, yes.
Thank you.
We have a question from an online member. Dima wanted to ask. Dima?
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, it was Dima. When there was the discussion about the screens in schools, an issue popped up in my head that I come across in my capacity, not as necessarily a parent of with my own children in Peel schools, but in my capacity as a therapist. I have nearly, just an FYI, I have nearly like 60 children on my caseload that attend Peel school boards, and often a complaint that I get from young parents of young children, I'm talking between the age of 4 and 6 years old, is that their kids are actually given screen time at school. So I wonder if the board addressed this issue at all, and the reason that they are given screen time at school is basically to help them sit down, to have them sit down to, and not like just deal with the hyperactivity or the behavior issues that they may be having, or to distract them for a little while. And it's become like an ongoing issue for many parents. And I wonder if the board has discussed not just kids bringing screens into school and cell phones into school, but the use of screen time in general, even by educators in school.
Thank you very much for your question, and through you, Chair. And, as I was referencing previously to Allison, we have a document that's called Empowering Modern Learners. And perhaps there may be an opportunity for us to come and share a little bit about that document. So perhaps that will help to answer some of the questions. And I really do appreciate both the things that you and Allison have raised around how is screen time being used in the classrooms, and how does it connect to the curriculum, and how does it connect to effective pedagogy? So these are really good questions that we will definitely take back, and perhaps there's an opportunity, should the committee be interested, for an opportunity for us to talk a little bit about the guidelines and the guide itself and some of the work that happens in EML that will hopefully answer some of your questions in more depth.
Can I just add to that? Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm trustee Susan Benjamin, Ward 5, Mississauga Malton, and I've been on PIC committee, I think, forever because I love this being in this committee. So I'm second term trustee. And just to add to that question of that Dima brought up, which is very, very important, we have also to understand the fact that all these kids have coming back from 2 months of vacation. And you know that it's a fact, all generations of people are addicted to their cell phones. So it's a big, and this policy has just been introduced by the ministry. So the school has just reopened and some parent was saying it looks like they're having withdrawal symptoms. So we have to understand the fact that the teachers also face a challenge and, it will take time to wean them away from all these things. You can't just stop it on day one. So gradually, and my advice as a member of the PIC committee is also that our parents need to cooperate. If you know of some good strategies, share it with the teacher, classroom teacher. Start from there. Share it with your school councils, and let's all be on board on this together, because we can only work together to wean them away from something that they thought, oh, that's part of my toys or whatever it is. So this is something really serious, and we have to always work together. So I'm also using this opportunity to welcome all the new incoming members of the PIC committee and all the returning members. Thank you, and we are here to help you. And I think we have had a very good discussion so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Benjamin, for your valuable suggestions. Do we have any other question from online members or members here? Person?
I would like to just kind of ask some, I guess, questions or comment. I noticed that the meeting time for this is listed as 3 hours, and I'm not sure if that's because we have like lots of questions that we just kind of throw out onto the table to discuss issues or not. So I don't know if this is the right forum for me to ask this question or whatnot, but when I looked at that multi-year strategy, we saw that some of the different pillars in there, one of them is things like safety. And we just kind of looked at that at a high level view for safety, saying we're going to create a safe environment. And I'm not sure what exactly that means, and I'm not sure what the steps we are taking to do that. I'm not sure if a full, undertaking of or a review of what a safe school looks like. But having been, I have 4 kids. I've got a 13-year-old in grade 8. I've got an 11-year-old. I've got a 10-year-old, and I've got an 8-year-old now. And I've been in the school system for 9 years. And I don't know if I would say I've seen much in the way of improvements in terms of security. I've seen and had conversations with a lot of friends who are teachers, both in the province, outside of the province. And from what I understand, safety is something that is deteriorating rapidly. And I hear us talking about a lot of processes. We've got a lot of plans in place and processes in place and accountability loops, but I don't know if I necessarily see that actually having an effect. One particular example, I have a friend who's out of province, and he says their schools have cameras in all the rooms and in all the halls to ensure that poor behavior does not continue. That's definitely a level of accountability. And so I don't know if the Peel District School Board has thought about cameras in helping to create a safe environment. Since we were talking about technology and screen time, I thought this might kind of work with that. But I'm curious to know, I've not seen much in the way of accountabilities. I've heard about these accountability loops, but I've not really seen accountability loops in practice. In fact, I've seen it where people like to pass the buck on accountability and it doesn't go anywhere. So I don't know. That's so much a question as it is a thought. And maybe this may not be the place for it, but I figured I'd express it. I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to that.
To the chair, and thank you very much for the question, Jason. And I'll just give you a very high level because you're asking some very specific questions. And so perhaps there's an opportunity to come back to some of those questions through a presentation should that be something that PIC is interested in. But I just want to tell you from a structure basis, kind of what we have in place as a board that would impact school safety. And we know that that's obviously an area of interest for many families, which is why it came out from the consultations that we had, and that's why it is a goal, a very specific goal in the plan, because we had lots of families expressing the same concerns that you are, and we are dedicated and committed to school safety. So we have a safety and well-being department, and that safety and well-being department has two school support staff members who provide consultation. We also have now extra staffing that is also supporting some of our schools around school safety. We have professional learning that is there for all of our school administrators around ensuring that we have a safe school environment. And at the very beginning of the year, so hopefully your children are talking about the assemblies that we have at the very beginning of the year, outline expectations for behavior and what the protocols are as well. So again, it's a much more fulsome response to your question, and perhaps there's an opportunity to revisit this at another time. But I just wanted to outline that we do have structures in place for the entire system, and we also have reports that come to the board on a I want to say quarterly basis. I could be wrong, don't quote me. But we also have reports that come to the board meetings that talk about safety and in particular suspensions.
Thank you, Camille. Shazia has a question.
I just wanted to, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask about something that you touched on earlier in your talk. It was about the Humanity Starts at Home piece. So we actually received this through our school earlier this year. I was very happy to see it because it was a very comprehensive, it covered, like a very broad and it basically captured a number of marginalized groups and different groups and definitions very, very well. I was sort of curious about, how it looked, if it was sort of structured the same way across other schools. And when I looked online, you can find the policies on different schools' websites. But the definitions and the groups that are included vary quite a bit from school to school. So I was wondering if you could shed some light on, how schools decide to share what groups fall under their school's humanity policy, or is there not like a structured definition that the entire board should follow, and the groups that should be included should be kind of standardized across the board?
Through you, Chair, and thank you for the question, Shazia. I'm not sure I completely understand your question, so I don't know if you want to repeat it or if you'd just like me to share a little bit about the document. And then the expectation is that schools are working within the context of their local school community. And so the expectation, as we do with all our schools, is who's in your school? What are the needs, and how are you going to be responsive to the children that are there, and what are the needs? What are the types of things that families are articulating? What are the children? We really want to make sure that schools are reflective of the school population. So it's not necessarily about specific individual populations, if that's how I'm understanding your questions. It really is around making those connections, building relationships, and we really encourage, not just through our school councils, but also through all kinds of different events and activities, because not all families come out to school council, but what are those events and activities that are happening at schools that really promote togetherness, opportunities to get to know one another. And we do have a community engagement policy that will also help to guide our work. And you'll see that is a really another goal that we heard from families loud and clear, which is why it's a goal. And we know that that's something that we really want to work on improving in the Peel District School Board. So you'll start to see some support around that. And I'm going to introduce our community engagement manager, who you may have met. I think you've met before at some of our meetings. So Supamiko, who has the community engagement portfolio as part of his responsibilities. And so we're, again, because not just because it's a goal, but the fact that it's a goal, we will be making greater efforts to really improve the work of parent engagement and the work to address some of the things that you would have seen outlined in that Humanities at Home letter.
And Chair, just to follow up with that, I understand your point about, the sort of the groups that are mentioned reflect the school community, but I also feel that by excluding, certain groups from that broad definition of sort of, or not even groups, but sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? What's identified as sort of, not being appropriate to make slurs or negative comments about. By excluding those on a school by school basis, the school community may not be informed that, or they may feel that it's not a priority or it's not something of importance to be able to, that they may not need to address it, and that there may be a little bit more leeway if there is a comment made about something, a group outside of what is in their school's humanity policy. So I'm just wondering if, like a more comprehensive and an inclusive definition that's standardized might be a little bit more helpful and raise awareness within schools broadly and across the board, that, certain comments across this are not acceptable. And again, I don't know if you're going to capture everything necessarily, but certainly some are very comprehensive and some are very, very basic. And it's almost doing a disservice to the school community for them to not have that sort of, widespread information. So I was just wondering about, how schools can make that definition for themselves. Would it be more efficient if a standardized definition came from the board and was disseminated board-wide so everybody's on the same page?
Okay, thank you again for your question. And I'm still not sure if I completely understand. So maybe we can talk a little bit more afterwards, but I would just say, broadly speaking, that as a school board, we have our human rights policy, and we also have the policy in our schools around discriminatory slurs and statements. And so although maybe in the letter, if I'm understanding you correctly, so I apologize, things may not be explicitly stated for everybody because we may not be able to do that all the time, but we have many ways in which we talk about the importance of recognizing the humanity and the dignity of all children in our schools. And we have many methods of doing that, not just the letter that came out, but there are many ways in which we do that, whether it be through activities that are happening in the school, whether it be the use of our equity toolkit that all schools have access to, that talk about what do inclusive learning environments look like, and it's filled with lesson plans and activities, plus the professional learning that's offered. So I know you might have received that letter that might outline things, but again, we have many ways in which we have an entire department that is focused on that. So happy to have a conversation with you to clarify what you mean.
Thank you, Shirley, for your question. Thank you, Camille, for trying your best to satisfy her. And do we have any other question from committee members?
Please, Madam Co-Chair, may I say something?
Sure.
So I just want to piggyback what Jason asked earlier about about safety and well-being of students. One of my two children, one school sent an email a few days ago about they initiating practicing a lockdown procedure. So I was happy to see that email. So my question about that is this something unique to the school specific? Is it happening across the board, every school? And if it's happening across every school, are they communicating to the families? And is it part of the many actionable items you have in this strategic plan for 4 years? Can you comment on that?
I can take that through you, Chair. Thanks for that question. So yes, it's standardized. So we've always had, I've been in the board for 22 years. And so we've always had 2 lockdown drills every year and also hold-in secures as well in every school. And so that is really just to prepare for educators and the principal and the children, just in case there is a threshold 3 emergency or a threshold 2 emergency and anyone is in imminent danger in a school. And it's so important that we routinely practice these drills. So fire drills, lockdowns, and hold and secures are practiced every year. And that is a part of our safety and well-being goal, of course, and that is high threshold. And that would involve emergency services. But certainly a huge part of our safety and well-being is emotional safety and well-being. And certainly we take the question around as well physical safety. And so Jason had the question about cameras. So we do have cameras in every secondary school and in some middle school, but we hesitate to put cameras in kindergarten. And so we know that we want to make sure that our children are safe in the classroom, in the hallways, and in the schoolyard. And so at elementary, the supervision is a lot tighter. And so our secondary schools are big secondary schools. My son just transitioned to grade 9 and he's like, Mom, I moved from a little schoolyard to the entire building. So the safety mechanisms, of course, in secondary schools require cameras. There are some schools that have vape detectors as well. So we're working really hard. There is a bullying prevention and intervention plan, and this year we're looking to train student leaders as well in bullying prevention and intervention. And so it's ongoing, but certainly the fire drills, the hold and secures, the lockdowns are really necessary safety precautions. And we work with the local fire and police departments to make sure that we do those efficiently.
Thank you.
Can I just add another safety issue that we can look into? Earthquake. Thank you.
I will note that.
I thought you were going to say floods.
Well, lots of those this summer.
Thank you, Etio. Do we have any other question from the members?
Sorry, I just kind of want to ask a follow-up question. So you'll have to forgive me because this is obviously my first meeting and I can't read anybody's name tags on their desks. So I can't very well address anybody properly, but in the response to my question, we'd mentioned that we might be able to do this in another forum and kind of discuss these issues elsewhere. How do we go about doing that? When do we do that? Maybe this becomes a part of the orientation. I don't know, but I'm about accountability. So I don't want to just kind of hear that and then let it fall off the table.
That could be an agenda item, right?
So we can use it as an agenda item. So you can send an email to the chair. So we are reminded that you wanted to put that in the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay.
We follow up. Thank you.
And certainly, Jason, include all of the areas that you'd like us to cover so that we can do a comprehensive presentation. And maybe we can have members of the Safe and Caring Schools here as well.
Sure.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions? So is there a mover and seconder for receiving all the information shared?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Adnan. Thank you, Shazia. All in favor, carried. Thank you, Atia. Thank you, Kamil, for providing all the updates and sharing information.
So our next agenda is communications. Are there any communication items to be shared at this time?
I just want to share a survey that is shared by Ministry of Education regarding equipping students with practical life skill survey. And this is the consultation that will close at 5 p.m. on October 1st. Just want to convey the message.
Any other communications?
Through the chair, I'd like to share that the PIC committee has received correspondence from the Cawthron Park Parent Engagement Committee requesting for the involvement of the PIC committee by way of a table display at their upcoming Parent Engagement Conference on Saturday, October the 19th. So I can forward the details of that event subsequent to this meeting in an email. But I did want to bring to the attention of the committee that that event is coming up on October 19th. The purpose of the event is to share more information about the role of PIC and the different opportunities that are available through the PIC committee. I do see this as a good opportunity for a table display, subject to the availability of the members to support that. This is not a school-specific event. It's for a family of schools. So it targets students between, I believe, grades 6 to 12. And it takes place at Cawthron Park Secondary School. I attended the event last year, well organized, well attended. That falls under the jurisdiction of Superintendent Lisa Hart's superintendency. And again, we did receive correspondence through myself in regards to inviting the PIC committee to participate. So I wanted to bring that up, given that that event might occur in close proximity to the next meeting, which won't allow enough planning time.
Thank you, Super. Any other communications? I see none. Can I have a mover and a seconder to receive? I do. Thank you, Shazia. Next item is committee member motions for considerations. Are there any motions for consideration at this time? I see none.
Sorry, can I just bring up something there? And I don't know if this is the right section for it, but we have our meetings at 5:30, and that is kind of a tight time frame when you're coming out of work. And so I don't know if that was like the agreed upon time for people to come, but I would much rather be in person, but that obviously becomes a difficult logistic when we have them so close to 5:30. I'd much rather meet everybody in person and get to kind of know them and build those relationships. That's hard to do at 5:30. So I don't know if that's something that's already been discussed in past years, but this seemed like the right time to bring it up.
I'd like to second that motion.
Who's seconding the motion?
Me, Dima.
Just take it back. Just take it back.
Good. I take it back. It's not a motion. But who is Dima? Okay. Dima suggests. Thank you, Dima. Any other considerations? I see no more. Is there a seconder to receive? So we move to number 10, committee member notice of motions. Are there any notices of motions at this time? There's none, so we'll move on.
Sorry, can I just step in there for a second? You may need to just let me know what a notice of motion is, because that's not something that comes across my desk frequently.
Over to Jasmine.
Do we have Jasmine here?
Yes.
Yeah, what is a notice of motion?
Jasmine is over the
Government officer, she's online, but I can't see if she's.
Yes, through you, Chair.
Yeah, she's there. Now she's here.
Just repeat the question.
Thank you, Jasmine. Can you repeat your question, Jasmine?
Yeah,
Yes.
what's a notice of motion?
So the notice of motion section in the agenda is an opportunity for members of the committee to provide notice that they will be bringing forward a motion to the next committee meeting. In regards to, for an example, which you were speaking to earlier, if you wanted to put forward a notice to change the meeting start time of the committee meeting, at this time you could give notice to the rest of the committee that next meeting you will be bringing forward that motion for consideration.
Oh, okay, wonderful. I appreciate that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it move to 6 o'clock. Give me a little more time to get out of work and down.
Camille want to add to this? Camille?
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say through you, Chair, and just a reminder that we are going to have an orientation meeting. So at that orientation meeting, some of the questions that you're asking, you'll have an opportunity to ask them at that time and understand. Unfortunately, there wasn't an opportunity to do the orientation prior to this meeting, just due to schedules. So at that meeting, you'll have a greater opportunity to understand some of these pieces of the agenda and what the terms mean as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Camille, for the helping to assist with the answers and definitely. So we are at the end of our meeting for tonight. We're at the adjournment section. Is there a mover and a second there for a motion of adjournment?
Yes,
Thank you, Sierra and Ananda. All in favor? We stand adjourned. Thank you for attending the Parent Involvement Committee meeting.